Welcome to Redhead Rewriting Reality by Kim Iverson. The story of my life as I figure out who I am after a lifetime of abuse and share my journey with that. Sharing the story of building my author career, the struggles, bettering self, and creating a new life. I'm a multi-genre author who publishes under Kimberly Sue Iverson. If you'd like to explore my work, visit KimberlySueIverson.com. This audio is intended for an adult audience. Themes and topics may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener and viewer discretion is advised. Now, get yourself comfy and make yourself at home. Let's dive in. Progress makes a difference. Again, as a way to hopefully jump ahead a bit, as I failed to do last week because of computer issues. I'm winning at this, I know. I am going to share Mr. Finkel's grave error next week. Probably try to get some more chapter reads up here and there that I completely forget to do. I was reading them on video and with the book, but yeah, later on I might get back to it. Mr. Finkel's Grave Error is a perma-free short story to buy. I did this story for a creative writing class. I don't recall what the assignment was, but I had mentioned it and stated it would be a permanently free short once I was done with it. Once I'd turned it in, once it was graded, etc. It is a short that has a science fiction aspect to it. And, like with the chapters for Guardians of the Void, I will do it in its very own separate post so that the post isn't super incredibly long. I noticed that I tend to get more views too when I share bits of my work, which I don't mind at all, so I'll try to do it. Also, it's very easy for people to be on blogs or posts or comments, YouTube, whatever it is, saying they're an author and never share actual work. Then if they do, after a long time, at least for me as a very picky reader, I will look at the work and go, maybe learn a bit more before acting like an expert. I still have plenty to learn, which is why I never claim to be an expert. I never try to act as if I am. Many authors will start to publish and want to share how to do this or that, or act as if they're an expert in their field, and that comes with time. I have mentioned it plenty before, but if you haven't written a ton of books and been at it for over 10 plus years, and horrifically failed a lot, you're not really at that point yet to me. You can offer advice, you can help people probably, and might, but you're essentially regurgitating a lot of what's already out there. To truly be able to offer a lot of good advice, you have to have failed horribly. You have to make a ton of mistakes, do a ton of writing, and actually help people be good at what you do. I used to offer coaching free and help for people, but I stopped. Why? I had helped a ton of folks who came to me to get better. It was absolutely great. I loved it. I stopped loving it when I helped a friend, I will not name the people, who said they knew someone they thought I could help, who wanted to be an author. So I dedicated a ton of time to helping this person, coaching the individual, being a sounding board, and when they landed a 6-figure, rare, contract from a major publishing house. Not only did I become a horrible advice giver and a nobody because I have always chosen self-publishing over trying to get into the publishing world, but they full on acted as if I was a nobody and never said a word about who helped them. Side note, if you don't know, I chose self-publishing because I could hold full control, not have to wait years for a book to get published, and so many other reasons. After a lot of hard work and attempts to learn how to go the other route before self-publishing came along, and I realized that worked better for me. I learned a lot of the process of submission and more if you go the traditional route through Holly Lyle. She passed recently, but I followed her for over, I think, 13 years, so I always tell people to check out her site and classes if they want good advice. All her advice is still up for free on the site, and some of her mini classes I believe are too. I get it though on why helping someone and thinking they'd ever credit me for it would be wrong. Helping with that expectation would be wrong, and that's not at all what I wanted out of it. I didn't help with that expectation, but then being treated that way, and as if I was a nobody, made me feel utterly invisible and rather shitty. And yes, having my name mentioned at all in that world, I admit selfishly, would have potentially helped me slightly in terms of someone might pick up my work. Even just one person, which is hugely beneficial for self-publishers. But there hasn't been one person who I have gleaned advice or help from that I haven't credited. I always credit the person I learned from or otherwise, more so if they're an artist, because one mention to the right person can make that person explode and gain financial freedom or readers, fans, whatever it is, if that's what they're wanting. It can make a career. If you've never suffered financially, you'd never understand what it was like to have to go to bed hungry, as I have plenty in my life just because we couldn't afford food, as my brother and I were doing last year. I think it's wrong to take ideas and not try to credit them. I try to remember to do it constantly and never quit. I never helped this person with the intention or expectation of a return, but it was once they began acting like I was a nobody. Meanwhile, all the people they knew in that world were more important and effectively distanced themselves from me. That's when the coaching became really taxing for me. In front of others, they never acted as if I was the one who'd helped them at first, and continuing until that contract. I tried to give them a subtle nudge to also be careful with that whole aspect of instant fame and that sort of thing. And again, I was the nobody who was to be ignored and looked down upon. I watched them get tons of amazing reviews and sales that first year or two, and I was happy, but also watching and knowing what was going to happen. What happens to all of us when we first start publishing or otherwise? The first 2 to 3 years, you might find that you explode, which is amazing for a creative or artist who wants to earn money. This individual used the funds to rent an office and do all sorts of stuff that they were probably advised and coaxed into. I would have said, 1, you don't need all that to write, and 2, just, slow down. As I told another I was concerned about with a process that they were trying to rush and was giving them constant anxiety around. Take your time. You don't need to rush, and if you do, there may be problems there. Obviously, this advice doesn't apply to everything, but if you can slow down, do it. The reality, though, is that over time, things settle. You're no longer the new artist, and now you're not the it and shiny new toy. So slowly, real life begins to settle in. If you don't manage that in your life or within yourself, then once the reality settles in, it's going to be hard. A very hard and harsh reality. It's similar to the authors I see who don't get a sale in 1 week and feel like everything is over. My fellow person, there are authors out there who have been at it for a long time and never received 1 sale. If the natural ebb and flow hits you that hard and it's only been a week, you may likely be similar to many of my fellow authors who were right there with me in the beginning and now are gone. No social media, no new books, nothing. They dropped off the face of the earth. I'm not talking about exceptions to the rule. I'm not talking about those rare events that keep going longer. On average, it takes 2 to 3 years for something to settle in, to start a new business and really get it going, and more so after 10 years, because struggles will take place, setbacks, and you really find out whether it has staying power after 10 years. Even a relationship, you have that initial boost, but after 3 or 6 months, the real starts to settle in. Then 2 to 3 years, and 5, and finally 10 years. Things shift, change, settle, explode. Real life settles in, the new wears off, and now it's all, okay, now what? If you're not aware of that, and approach things with a humble and calm mindset, and let the excitement take over, oh boy. I won't go into all the troubles I watched that person who I no longer speak with or is around me went through. Their choice, though, I did try to keep close to them and eventually realized this isn't happening. It did sour me to offering coaching and writing advice. It's why I've tried to do it here, but that's not me. Not as a full channel or site worth. I offer it in tidbits here and there as I do my posts, as I write, or within things I share. I also am open about it when asked, just like other advice. I won't dedicate and regurgitate the same old, just to build a channel around it. You have plenty who want to blow air up your bum out there to find. Plenty that might be that one individual who will say what another says, but in a way that finally, for you, sinks in. Many would easily also frown upon me when they go, well, if you're not making millions and a bestseller, I'm not listening to you. Do you know a lot of those lists are not because the book is good? It's easy to con retail systems with a strategy to get that book marked as a bestseller, even if they've only sold 1 book. Many marketing systems use a certain template to get people to grab or buy a book, so it triggers that marker as if it's a real bestseller. Voting and polls are often conned into popularity contests. It's not the book, it's about who can get the most clicks, views, buys right away to again say, ooh, bestseller. A lot of voting systems are rigged as well. I used to participate and watch those things all the time once. I was part of that blog hop party back in the day where a set number of people would purposely get together and do blogs around a topic in their genre to spur sales and focus, where you'd go to great lengths to help other authors and do interviews with people, only to have that very next year all the links and work done, broken. That person quit the business or just deleted everything from their site. So you're not getting anything from all that effort. It was a one-time short boost that does nothing for long-term growth. They did it to boost their sales potentially. I spent a ton of my time marketing my work and trying to gather street teams who in the end barely did anything unless I micromanaged them, or beta readers that didn't offer much in the way of help because they wanted the free book, nothing more. Even with specific questions I directed toward them. I'm not the only author who has noticed that, been through it, or those things stop working for. I have coined the term, many will say, few will do. I'm probably not the original who said that, but I said it long ago and it stuck with me. Far too many things can apply to that. Relationships, work, people, life. So I see a reason to share my work, besides just as random fun tidbit here and there. It's also to show people, no, I'm not a perfect writer, but I'm not bad either. I sort of know what I'm doing. Many think I'm next level and above many others, even published traditionally, but I leave that up to the individual reader. There is always someone who will hate or love my work, or your own if you're a writer or human. If you love my work, I appreciate you beyond words. If you hate my work, but still gave it a chance, same thing. Thank you for at least giving me a shot. Don't believe me that there's always love and hate for work? Go read any famous book's comment section, as long as it's not a personal attack. Oof. You'll see some horrible comments. Sharing my work as I work too allows me to be held accountable and see the progress and feel I'm making a difference. I said recently that it's different now when I do it. It makes me see it through your eyes almost. Like, hey, I'm actually making a difference. I was told quite a lot that even me sharing my word count would inspire people or help them. That became a motivator for me doing that too. Not just that I found it helped my mind. I'm not sure why doing it publicly can help me more than just writing it down on my own. Sometimes doing it in public can be a detriment if I'm not putting in good word counts every day. It activates my shame and humiliation that I'm battling. The not being good enough, self-esteem and confidence hits. For the most part, it's more beneficial for me than anything. I just get down and annoyed if I'm in the low range for what I know I'm capable of. But that's where I want to always be doing well and improving too. I guess a huge part of me likes to inspire people and help them that way, and I feel as if I'm failing if I'm not. Built into me from years of hearing that I am an inspiration, or feeling as if I'm valued when doing so. Otherwise, I struggle with feeling invisible and as if my presence doesn't matter. And that is what will activate the darker stuff I battle, the suicidal thoughts. As in, if I don't matter and my presence means nothing, why am I here? I benefit nothing. I shouldn't even exist. That could be a huge part of it too. Just me existing, I was made to feel that wasn't enough. I had to do something, be something. Just getting through the day and being me, I wasn't enough. I wasn't enough when my ex spent more time building with everyone around me but me. I wasn't enough because my mom demanded I keep the house clean, to which I rebelled highly against as a teen, let me tell ya, but also solve all her problems, save the world, and have a career and make millions per day. I was never enough just being there and existing. My dad was the one who made me feel important and who grounded me, who offered me that rock, the stability and safety, who gushed on me and always called me his beautiful girl or pretty daughter, and who made me feel I mattered, that someone noticed me and was always there. Not with shallow discussions, not with bland check-ins. We had a lot of deep conversations, and he'd be teaching me stuff all the time. We'd play together, baseball, golf, or I'd run errands with him. He kept me close because I was his everything. That is what grounded me and helped me. It's not like any of us can escape that. You probably battle it in your own way. That not feeling good enough or not being valued stuff. If we're not the best at our career, climbing the highest mountains, having kids that excel at school, inventing the newest, greatest toy, and achieving total success both in the house and outside of it, we fail. We fail if we mess up. We fail just enjoying our day. Yet who often is the happiest? Those who aren't going, and faster, but living a slow life filled with intentional moments and choices. That's something I'm trying to do more. Be more intentional with choices and things I do. One of those boundaries is my mornings. Those are when I need to wake up, relax, tend the dogs, eat, try to get exercise, and I'm not going to give others my time outside of those closest to me. And even then, unless it's an emergency, it can wait until later in the day. To be clear, my fiction is not these blogs. If you haven't read or heard my other posts around this, I don't have good grammar for these posts because I write them and minimally correct them, then post. It's me building myself back into the writing. It's me forcing myself to shove myself out there in the public eye so I get used to it, when every part of me struggles with that. I want to delete posts, not share thoughts, hide in my little blanket fort on the bed. I do not want to expose myself this way. For fiction, I edit the heck out of it, have my editor edit it, and we go back and forth to make it the best we can. So yeah, I know my grammar and sentence structure is often terrible on these posts. Sorry, I guess. Then again, no likey, no follow-y. Simple. Don't like me? Don't look my way. You're the one in control of it all. For those who stay, I am super happy that you tolerate my bummies. I can be a full-on immature, snotty little brat a lot of the time. I know. I have been poking at my work more too. Fiction writing when I say work. And even sort of started a few shorts. Some are nothing more than titles, and another I have a few pages written. While I was doing it, I went, seems like I'm throwing myself back into a space I was a long time ago. So I should force myself to sit down and smack my bummies a little to finish a short. My mind needs to remember ending something as much as starting. That can be a struggle for authors. What intimidates newbies is often just finishing a story. We have all been there. What I often tell or told people is just end one. Do it a few times. It doesn't have to be a good story. It doesn't have to be long. Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to even be grammatically right in form of a story. Train your brain that you can end something. The mind is as much of a muscle as your body. Train it. Flex it. Build up the strength. How to write a story? How to learn to end it? So write a short story like, Bob walked into the restaurant to grab himself a coffee. He ordered a coffee and the waitress filled it. She smiled and he wished her a nice day. Then he went to work. The end. Boom. You just taught your mind you can write a story. It may not be a great story. It may not be the best grammar, best details, anything. But you see that? You completed a story. You learned to end one, and that is powerful. So then you do it again. Mary was so nervous as she waited for her date. Her sister set her up on a blind date. Little did she know, it was a guy she'd been speaking with online. So when he turned the corner and walked down the street, her entire world flip-flopped. It wasn't just that she knew him, but a flash of her future overcame her as his strides filled with purpose came her way. This man. They were going to get married. Turned out, she believed in love at first sight after all. The end. Done. Another story completed. You literally are flexing your muscle and building it up. For now, you don't even have to know how to end it right. Where to end a story, I mean. Say, do you end it after this moment or that? You are simply stretching that muscle. Notice too that I purposely was very bland with the first story. The next, I dribbled a bit more detail into it. So then how do we do a settings and details focused one like that? How do we build up more settings and details and still maintain that groove of just blasting out a story to end? This idea too isn't to actually follow proper procedures. Write something and type the end. Do not care about rules, the story, the writing, the grammar. Everyone's first draft or starts are things that belong in a trash pile. But you'll never have something to edit if you don't write it down. You'll never learn to write if you don't write. So do it. No excuses. It's totally fine not to write. It's totally fine to struggle. Just try not to pop up excuses. Get used to being authentic and simply state, I am not writing, and that's okay. Yes, Kim, heed your own dang advice. In case anyone is curious, when I say writer's block isn't my issue, this is also proof. Neener. Anyway, so details, focused, and setting. What do you hear, feel, see, smell? Engage your senses and tap into them to truly make something feel more alive to you and the reader. Inject your emotional state into it. Often people have complimented me on my cooking. And you want to know the secret sauce I inject? My emotions. Love cooking, what you're doing, the process. Enjoy it. Want to taste bland food from me? Make me just do it to do it and upset me. You'll likely be eating burnt food. So this one will do some settings and details more. It was the scent of the seaweed beneath his feet that always hit him first when he walked over the rocky terrain of the beach. Algae-like, or almost like a lettuce smell, as though he stepped through the door of a humid fish store filled with aquariums. The rocks were hard to walk over anyway with his boots, but when he stepped on a rock covered with that green slime, he was lucky he didn't fall on his ass. That goofy kid running across the rocks in front of him, with hair flying from the cool breeze, managed far better. Her boots caught the rocks perfectly, and a giggle lit up the sky as she bounded from one rock to the next. It made him smile. Another swoosh beside him came of the wave breaking across the sand, dragging back out with a shh, and he shot up in bed, sweaty and clammy, the sheets twisted and tugging at him so he felt caged, hot, tired of that dream that caused him torment. It was the last time he'd seen her alive. The end. Abrupt as hell, I felt like continuing, but I'm making a point. This exercise isn't to do anything for you, but train an ending. I've told plenty to do it, but whether they believe me and do it or not, who knows? I've had many issues where people push my advice aside, but then later on realize it was good advice. Do as you please with it. You can even go grab a short or small story, or copy the ones I wrote above and write it down manually. For me, I do often do better with pen and paper, and it's the act of physically doing so that the brain really enjoys too. It learns and remembers things easier, trains it too. I believe studies were done around it. If you deal with hand pain like me though, that can be one of those compromises you make, which causes issues with me now trying to write with pen and paper. Super aggravating. I can malfunction even if I don't have the right click under my fingers for a laptop key. Little things like that can cause me struggles and I have to force it. My point to showing you that exercise too is that yes, those are off the top of my head. That's pantsing. You don't have to plan things, just start to write. From those small things, not only is my brain learning to write and end a short, but it's also able to go back later on and expand on all of that. Let's take Mr. Bland up there getting a coffee. How to expand such a bland thing if you want to further practice and learn to storytell? Easy. Go to my default questions. Ask who, what, where, when, why, how, what if. Now with those questions, you have all you need. Who is he? Why does he go there to get that coffee? Where does he work? Ask even, what if that's not his real name? Why not? What's important about the coffee every day? What coffee does he get? What's the personality of a person who'd get that coffee? You don't have to really know the personality of a person, say, like me, who drinks black coffee. If I did it for me and a person who drinks black coffee for a story, Kim drinks black coffee because she is cold and cruel and the depth of flavor can make her skills strong. I know that makes zero sense. It doesn't make sense or need to. What I did was wrote down what my brain said. That has zero to really do with a person who drinks black coffee or me even. By the way, these are things I learned from the Holly Lyle courses and my own writing and interviewing characters over time, not me just being naturally brilliant. of which I know I am. However, that's how you create a story. Let the brain play. Do not censor. Do not stop it. Write down whatever it throws at you. It knows more than you. Trust me. Half of what I've written, I had no logical reason to. And then later in edits, I was all wide eyes. Because I saw where it connected to the story and more to add in to deepen it all. So to expand that snippet above, I would ask myself, what skills does she have? How do they benefit her daily in her work? Then you answer it. My brain is over here giving me assassin vibes and stuff because of a song I'm listening to, I think. Kind of has a grr theme to it. Mini lesson over. So that's what I have to do too, but actual shorts. I keep getting a lot of push for playing with dark romance and erotica again. I know, gasp. So many will be shocked at a woman writing such things. Newsflash, I may like it, but my work is a bit deeper and more complex like I am. I rarely do them. Layers upon layers are to be discovered in my work, and I keep that door shut with the intimate stuff for mini stories. For some, like my Dark Moon Dynasty universe, that's where I let a lot of the extra show. And any shorts in that world, I may full on go into them. Maybe it's part of me wanting to get more in touch with my sexuality at this point. I've finally reached that point after being raped that I feel safer to again. I don't take a second to heal from major events like that. It takes me as long as it takes me, much to the chagrin of many around me. It helps that I have surrounded myself with some good men again, that I am free to be open with, that I don't get condemned for if I want to discuss certain topics. I'm not being judged or harassed or receiving disgusting and cruel remarks or shamed and humiliated for anything. They're not crossing a line and making things awkward. I'm able to discuss openly what I've been through. They are just friends for me. They are discussions I can have openly, and being able to have that with a friend has been helping me too. It's not a physical thing, so don't get it confused. I'm too old-fashioned for that. Being able to have input on topics openly and not have it made into some big, weird, crazy thing where suddenly you feel embarrassed or shameful for curiosity is a big deal for someone like me, who was shamed all her life around anything sexual because of what she went through and having a mother do it to her and plenty of others. So if you're one of those guys and listening, I always say it, but I appreciate the hell out of you and other men who allow me to be open, and we can have discussions around any topic without it being a big deal, or meaning anything other than open discussions. Not crude, not gross, not weird, not shameful. Not a guy suddenly getting creepy on me and thinking open conversation means much other than yet another topic. I like to be able to discuss any topic openly. You are my people if you don't wall up around me and judge me for thoughts I have. Some topics I only open up to few because they can be a little not so good. That doesn't mean that I haven't had some bad moments because of my openness, but as I've tried to make clear to many, I don't judge anyone based on others. That doesn't mean I don't recognize patterns of behavior and know when to distance or be cautious. And I will not apologize ever for keeping myself safe. But I feel like getting back into erotica is another level of a healing process I'm on. I will not put the type of work I'm considering under my name, since I will be working through a lot of things that will not be for everyone. They are topics that might go a little dark. You'll see that a lot with writers, truthfully. In their work, not all, mind you, you will see certain topics and subjects addressed and not realize that they're working something out within that space. It can be as subtle as a romantic storyline to as cruel as a kidnapping and murder storyline. Whether it's tame or extreme, it may not even be a full story, but a snippet, a paragraph. May not be a sexual situation, or it may be too. It's amazing the way writing can help process a lot or work out things. I think it's another reason I sometimes like playing around with the AI chat apps I've mentioned. Some of the AI is becoming so good that if you get in there, as I do, and edit and regenerate to really train it to give you details in a story narration, it will. And it's much like those create your own storybooks I had as a kid. Everything can alter the story or where it goes. Or you can go back and readjust the angle to a different storyline. I know it's helping my mind. I need that creation ability, even if my brain is balking at my own work. If you don't have the outlet you need or know how to properly deal with something, you end up figuring it out on your own. That being said, I have been poking around in the Priestess Chronicles again. I say poking because it's mostly reading through it, correcting stuff as I go, which has been helping. My brain is remembering the storyline and where I was going with it, and by doing so, inspiring more around it. As I've said, writer's block wasn't the issue, and isn't. It's a focus issue. I even printed a picture on the printer to ensure I got that all set back up and nothing happened to it in the move, so I can print out the story when needed. I say that because the buyers who'd come in at the last minute to help us in that mad dash to get out by midnight before the lenders essentially evicted my brother and I, well, the packing for a lot of things was throwing it in a box and hope for the best. The printer was in the hallway on top of a bookshelf, so it got thrown in a big moving box with whatever was on that bookshelf. I've been going through more of those boxes too that were haphazardly packed, since a lot of what I didn't want to take was put in them, and I have to sort out the junk. I almost got the dining room clear of all the giveaway items, donation things. I also figured out that I could use one of the old blankets that are a bit thicker to make a basic workout mat for now, because on the good days my body is flexing better. My brother was making mention of how the floor helps me too one night, and I agreed with him. I said, yeah, I've been trying to stretch more and see if I can get up and down easier, and the floor helps to just slide on. I'm trying to work my knees, especially in that area. Flexibility. That's where a lot of my struggles have been. I couldn't bend my knees at all at one point last year. This is where many were confused as to me saying I had issues with movement, and they'd say just stretch. The issue was that I was stretching up until my knees began to not want to, and then I couldn't. I was trying to maintain my yoga routine, albeit doing it a bit more subtle and not as taxing. I was slowly pulling back and doing a gentler routine and not as long, but then couldn't hold up at all. Well, then it got to the point that I was in more and more pain until, as I pointed out, One day I bent down, and it took all I had to get back up. I was in the worst pain and near tears trying to get my body to get back up. I actually had a few minutes that I got scared I wouldn't be able to get back up and would have to call my brother to help me. My body had decided we reached shutdown. I almost want to describe it as my muscles atrophying, but I was still using them. Is that even possible? Who knows? A normal and decent human would just have a doctor look them over for answers, and a psycho alien like myself just works her own body to figure stuff out. I'm stubborn and ridiculous, I know. I could hurt myself more, I know. Know all those things. I'll still do it my way. Stubborn bum, you're thinking? Yes, I am. Either way, it took me over a year or so to finally feel safe bending my knees, and it's only just recently I don't have a total meltdown attempting to get down and back up. My shoulders and arms giving up too wasn't helping. On the days that pain is up there or my hip are the days I truly can't push myself and try not to. I never know when they will hit or how long or how debilitated I can get. One day I might feel all right, like today, despite subtle pain in my joints. The next moment I'm in such pain I struggle to get anything done, and my shoulder, right one, is utterly killing me, and I wonder if I'll ever feel better. Despite it being a few days and knowing I am improving no matter how slow it is. When that sort of pain hits, I feel fat, lazy, horrible, and life takes a turn down, and my mental state can suffer. On the good days, I feel I can accomplish a lot and am inspired to clean, write, unpack, work. The printer is working well, but I'll have to buy color ink if I need anything but black and white. The reason I chose this printer too is that I can find refills for only about $5 for a set on eBay, and they last a few good months. Well, that's if I'm printing heavily while writing. Outside of that, I can go almost a year without purchasing new ink for that printer when not writing. It's a Canon Pixma. More so now that my mom isn't around printing out every single thing she sees online. Bank statements all the time, and information about people she snoops about. I spent all that time cleaning the house of junk, paperwork, and when my brother and I were forced out of the house, there was still so much paperwork and pictures my mom printed out. We left a massive wraparound desk that was in the computer room, and it had a ton of paperwork I still hadn't gotten to. On it, around it, under it. No telling what all was there. Lots of schoolwork and projects in the closet we didn't get anything but my porcelain dolls from. I'm thinking of calling the neighbor for those and seeing if her church would like to use those for a raffle or giveaway thing they have. They're beautiful dolls. I don't have use for them, but someone should enjoy them. Those are one of the few things the buyers saved us from the closet we never got to. My brother and I did want the game consoles and my mini bat I'd gotten from the last baseball game we went to with our dad, but we didn't. It was a small Mariners bat. Only a certain number of kids got them, and they had to be a certain age. I was almost out of that age range, but fortunately that year was the last chance I had. I want to say I was around 12 or so. The guy stared at me for a moment as if he didn't believe me I was that age when I told him. I remember the stadium entrances being so full. My brother hooked a finger in the loop of the back of my jeans so I wouldn't get lost in the crowd and him and my dad lose me. As I did say above too, I find my body is doing a bit better, and so has my skin. I found a supplement to take that's a collagen-based one. I mentioned that I haven't noticed any sort of change with the glucosamine I'd been taking for my body like it used to be, so I was gonna try collagen. The collagen supplement I found is cheaper than the other I used to take long ago, but about the same amount, 6 big old tablets per day. I think it's already been taking effect because it's a tiny difference, but my skin feels a bit better and not as paper thin crepe paper dry. So I'll be continuing that one in particular. The vitamin D I have, I will be giving up since it doesn't do anything and it's an expense I don't care for in my budget. So I'll end up just using folic acid and collagen for now. My brother keeps trying to buy a lot of frozen fruits and vegetables when they're on sale for me too, which I am appreciative of. My taste buds have been a nuisance to what I can eat now. People may argue fruits and veggies, and yay, that's good for you. But that's the thing too, not all fruits and veggies I can stand. I've lost interest in even more foods. So if I make certain things for dinner, I don't even bother trying to eat them. I can't even stand tuna fish as much as I used to. Of course, I say that, and next week my body will be like, gimme. Ugh. It often feels like I'm starting from the ground up for most things these days. Like last year, both my older brother and I ended up going through an internal death. He's even been trying to do more for himself. I kept telling him he should try to get a moisturizer then, because he's been struggling with dry skin too. So he bought himself some body washes and lotion. Soda and random snacking has been a big issue with him. Hopefully he can adjust that. He has been trying to do so with the snacking. He mentioned he noticed that he's got to stop that. With him getting his type 2 diabetes down to pre-diabetes levels because of us basically starving the past year, it's important to try to ensure that stays in check. Not to mention he's still technically in the range of at risk for another heart attack. His heart is good, but having had the one, there's just always that chance. He's been helping me more with the dogs in certain tasks, as I've mentioned, so that's helpful to helping him move more and more frequently, which is a huge benefit for him, but also me. More to come. Thank you for reading and subscribing. I'm beyond grateful you chose to spend this time with me. What are your thoughts? Engage with me and start a conversation. Just don't be rude about it. And as always, your shares are so incredibly appreciated. Share with anyone you think may enjoy this. Word of mouth is the best form of expanding the reach, so this reaches the eyes and ears of whoever may enjoy it. My donation link, if you'd like to support me and help keep this going, is ko-fi.com/Kimberly Sue Iverson. That's ko-fi.com/Kimberly Sue Iverson. Every little bit helps, so thank you for your generosity. Remember, kings and queens, everyone is fighting battles inside nobody can see. Who are you willing to see today? And who are you willing to let see you today? I hope someone brings a smile to you today, or you can bring a smile to someone else. If you'd like to follow me on social media, you are more than welcome to, and I'd love to connect you there. For Instagram, Facebook, and Threads, I have to use Kimberly Sue Iverson. There is also a page for Redhead Rewriting Reality on Facebook, but for X, Twitter, Blue Sky, Telegram, and most other socials, you can find me under Kimber Bites. That's KIMBERBITES, which is what I normally use. Do you like Snapchat? Feel free to add me under Feisty Kitty. That's FEISTYKITTY. I had originally installed it for a friend, but have since just left it up. I usually try to use the same picture across the board, but you can always ensure you have the right person by checking my website link cave, which is KimberlySueIverson.com/linkcave. Want a chance for your story to be featured? Whether you're an author starting out, published and want a boost, have a tale of old to tell that has been passed down through family, or just want to share your own life experience, get in touch. Email stories2read@KimberlySueIverson.com. That's stories2read@KimberlySueIverson.com. Who will say what another sayeth. Away. Minnie would easily also. My mouth isn't working today. If you love my work, I appreciate you beyond. I can't talk today. Having kids that excel. Can't talk today. Little did she know, it was a guy she'd